Greetings and salutations everyone, I'm Mac. This is a little bit of a tutorial. My mum asked me for some help with In from the Cold, so I thought why not just put out a video that shows exactly how this quest works. Timestamp on screen of when you should jump to if you just want the answer, but if you'd like to see... Oh. Yes, I've been taking proper breaks, imbibing sufficient water. What of the Warrior of Light? You and the twins established a history of reckless disregard for your own well-being. Well, fortunate none of you found yourselves in my care. I've had quite a lot to deal with between the tempered and the wounded. Although I can mend their minds, their experiences, what their experience have taken on their minds altogether, whatever she said. For now we mustn't waver, but nor must we rush ahead in eagerness to see the day one, and in doing so invite disaster. Several cutscenes will play in sequence. Set aside sufficient time to view these cutscenes in their entirety. Right, it's going to be a restful supper. Because lots of cutscenes. Why wouldn't that be restful? Waitress Y'shtola, why not?
Is that all of them?
The last of those who agreed to join us, yes.
We left heaters and provisions for those who wish to stay behind. They won't last forever, but hopefully they'll last long enough.
For now, I think everyone's earned a rest. We'll see to those in need of medical attention, so take the others with you and get yourselves some hot soup.
Warmth. At last.
Marvelous, isn't it? All thanks to the resourceful machinists of Ishgard, I might add. On their behalf, I bid you warm yourself to your heart's content.
Hold on. Your people might have scribbled a few things on a piece of parchment, but it was our Leminson Smiths that put the bloody things together.
Well, be that as it may, we single-handedly got the interior heating up and running again, didn't we?
The hells you did! We were there every step of the way.
We? You barely raised a finger to help, you ale-sodden reprobate.
I did a damn sight more than you lily-livered bilge rat.
Take that back.
Making a fantastic first impression on him, you guys.
I will not stoop to your level.
At ease, man. There's nothing funny in it. I'm from Alamigo, but was a conscript until recently. Used to eat this with the officers.
Apparently, it's adapted from a steppe recipe. This is my first time trying it, and I have to say, it's not half bad.
It's a bit too flavorful for my liking.
Perhaps compared to what you're used to.
It's the little things that make life worth living, don't you think?
I know this is not a dream, and yet... I felt the same way at the Dragon Song War's end. Every morning I would step outside and need to be reminded that it wasn't my imagination, that my world had been forever changed. And just as I had grown accustomed to the idea, again you change my world in ways I never thought possible. Were it not for you and your fellow scions, the rifts between man and dragon and myriad tribes might never have been bridged. The Grand Company of Eorzea, the Ilsabard contingent. We owe it all to you. We've shed many tears in recent days, of pain and sorrow, triumph and joy. I much prefer the latter.
You often don't have the luxury of choice.
Indeed. We can but do our utmost to unite these disparate peoples and lead them to victory.
It is a remarkable achievement. Everything that I and the Populares had hoped for, and more.
Would that it had come sooner.
Indeed. Too many are not here to see it. And yet, there is a warmth in my breast, as if they still share in this moment.
Yes, I know what you mean. On a night like tonight, the wind and cold seem to pass me by.
Thank you for inviting me today.
We didn't give those out to the...
What? Emperor Varus?
Yep, we didn't give them out to the Guardians.
They are being tempered. The talismans. Quickly!
Save me, brave hero!
Oh great, it's you again.
My lord has requested your presence, and I would hate to disappoint him.
You do not deserve to wear the Maelstrom outfit.
The
12 minutes in and nothing interesting happening.
I fear our time is short. I shall begin the preparations.
Now, it is time for you to awaken. Good morrow to you. Here, have a taste before it gets cold. Oh, but be sure to remove your helmet. Take a moment, too, to familiarize yourself with that borrowed flesh.
Someone really wanted to make an iconic scene.
So, how does it feel? I, for one, find those first moments within a new body to be most refreshing. We had a Magitech engineer by the name of Aulus to thank for this method of soul extraction and implantation. I believe the two of you met briefly in Alamigo.
I think we killed him.
His was a rather sticky end, wasn't it? Thankfully, he was thoughtful enough to leave behind his mind-jack technology. I took the liberty of making some improvements and selecting you as my esteemed test subject.
This is such a pain in the arse.
Come now. To us Asians, it is no different from trying on new clothes. Why not make the most of it by partaking in this fine cuisine?
I have to wonder if there's a certain quest that gives another option there, because it looked like there was the potential for such.
When I discovered that his friend was in this neck of the woods, I suggested inviting you over for dinner. He never deigned to respond, but I took his silence as a resounding yes.
You certainly add a bit more character to this duo of villains.
Oh my! Daddy is pleased his grumpy little boy has finally found his playmate. Ah, exposition is in order.
He's a bit forthright aware, isn't he?
Outlawed all forms of religion. No gods to worship, no risk of summoning. Brilliantly simple. But people being people must turn to something or someone in their hour of need. Who then? Why, His Radiance the Emperor, of course.
Yeah. You get a slight hint of this in that parlay with the Varus a while back.
The legendary Solus Zosgalvus, dead. Provinces near and far in open rebellion. Our bold new emperor assassinated. And that last one even sparked a civil war. What rotten luck. The people cried out for salvation. Their earnest pleas, one might even call them prayers, a supplication united for the Empire to reclaim her former glory. And so their will did manifest, channeled through the corpse of none other than Emperor Varus himself. And lo, the Savior was born, the embodiment of the Garlean spirit, their anima.
That one Final Fantasy X boss and summon.
It calls to its subjects, compelling them to take up arms and fight. And just as the wealth and power gravitate towards the Empire's capital, so too does ether from every corner of the globe. The towers with which you and your allies have been so preoccupied were created as an extension of Anima itself. An ingenious design.
Right. Part of his body was in the core. He didn't answer. He must agree.
Does the pursuit of prey you have bested before excite you?
Right. We beat you down once. Why should we be interested in it again?
Absent the challenge, the thrill, your prize is a hollow victory. Butchery. Perhaps you think that to be the extent of my promise. I have no doubt fallen in your estimation since Alamigo. Fair enough. But do not let your disdain deprive us, of an opportunity to craft an even more majestic moment of euphoria. I have been honing my craft as I set the stage for our reunion.
Right, he changed to the new DPS class. Much more interesting than Samurai. There's Fandaniel doing the fancy drink pouring trick.
There is suffering and despair. You appear to fulfill your duty as defender of this star. The chaos and destruction that my hordes have wrought are my gifts to you alone.
Yeah, he doesn't quite understand. Even Garlemald isn't safe from a psychotic, twisted monster like you.
At a loss for words? No matter. As you will learn, I have only just begun.
Oh, will you not finish your meal?
There is only one thing that can sate my hunger. And it would seem my friend has lost her appetite. I hoped this display of civility might prove an entertaining diversion, but clearly we are above such pretensions. While my lifeless body was in the possession of the Ascian, I too claimed another's as my own. It was an enlightening experience to fight in an unfamiliar form. Flaws and failings in my technique were plain to see. Whence rises one's true strength? The flesh? The soul? Perhaps you should like to discover the answer for yourself. Or together.
Oh dear! Whatever would happen if my lord were to greet your friends as you? I shudder to imagine what carnage he would wreak. We'd better hurry if we want to avert the bloodbath. You can thank me later for my generosity.
Honestly, can't tell what he's planning with this whole thing. I think he just wants to, like, is he just bored and wants to mess about here? Because this seems like a fairly pointless diversion, aside from giving us a bit of an insight into the villains. But it's not much insight.
Ah, there it is. Your camp, I believe. If I were to hazard a guess, I would say that you, the other you, is making her way there as we speak. Alas, this you will have to walk from here. Or run, if you can manage it. My lord would be cross if I made it too easy. Such ingratitude. I'd not squander this fighting chance. After all, you've obstacles enough to overcome. Right on cue. Tempered soldiers, with standing orders to kill those not sworn to anima. Under normal circumstances, you would make short work of them. But on this occasion, the odds are not so heavily stacked in your favor.
Alright, this is actually quite the challenge because, yeah, commence battle for from the cold. We have about 25 in the coming battle. You'll fight as an unknown Imperial. We don't heal back over time. We only have like 3 skills. And these fights are not easy. Time to familiarize with yourself with that new bottle. May I suggest a fight to the death?
Not bad at all, given your diminished capacity. Nevertheless, 'twould perhaps be prudent to keep to the shadows, scurrying about like a rodent.
Yeah, that nearly killed us. The Tempered Imperial has breathed his last. The unfortunate soldier was carrying a medical kit. You may use medical kits to restore your depleted HP. You can only carry a limited number. You can inspect fallen soldiers or wreckage to find more. We need it. Pay your respects. You offer a silent prayer for the deceased. Were you in possession of your own body, you may have had the capacity to subdue rather than to slay this tempered soldier. You are unable to use the full extent of your powers. Reach Camp Broken Glass quickly by avoiding combat whenever possible. If discovered, your foes will give chase. Magitech units are especially powerful. The chances of defeating them in your current state are slim at best. And that drops the barricade, which is something that Mum didn't quite grasp. This Magitech Reaper's days of fighting are over. Yeah, that way is a bit too crowded, so we have to sneak past these Tempered Imperials. Fortunately, this isn't like most MMOs where, or at least these guys aren't the radar ones that can hear you from any side. Find a medical kit in the cockpit. We need that. I mean, I've played a lot of stealth games, so I feel like I've got a good time here. Whoever this was fought until the bitter end. You find a medical kit. Could I get to that Imperial? Darn it! I guess the ones all hunched over are a little easier to kill because they're not quite in the right mind. We need this other medical kit though. Whatever this is going to say, I won't care, I'm just gonna speedrun it. Nope, just to breathe his last. Obviously we wouldn't want to go this way because it is crowded with terrible things. The goal that we're going for, by the map, is this, the immobilized Magitech Reaper. This Magitech Reaper's leg has been damaged, but the weaponry should be functional. You could clear the path if you find the key and fuel. So now we have to look for fuel. We don't even have a sprint button. Oh, you turned just when I was about to run past, didn't you? I think this Imperial will have a medical kit. And I think this is the Magitech Reaper that we want. No, we must keep going. Oh, the small sack over here though. It gives us a slight regen effect for about 4 minutes. Useful for helping with that auto heal penalty, I'll say that much. Fuel concealing wreck-it. Go away. Okay, so this specific point on the map is where we find the fuel wreckage. This guy was cut down from behind. The thing is, if you take a hit, you lose carry time, and eventually you'll just end up dropping it, and you have to kill whatever's hitting you. Darn it! Actually, you don't even get to lose carry time, it just flat out takes it away from you. I don't think I've ever made it through this in one go. I always drop it at least once. Okay, he is facing directly at me. That one is facing directly away, so... if we do get into another fight, I have to pop the med kit immediately. But yes, once we fuel up the Reaper... over here, I'm inside this building. Come quickly. Open turret. Thank goodness, I thought I was the only one left. Bastards got my hand when they took down my Reaper. If you can repair its leg, it should still work. Take this key. If I had the use of my hand, I might have stood a chance out there. Send help if you can. So yeah, once you get the fuel, he gives you the key. And now we have this. Tower defense. Ooh dear. Well, that got us through at least, so now we just have to, well, keep going. Please help us! That one stung. Bear. Ooh boy, that stung. And now we have a Yeti to kill because of course, why not a Yeti? As long as I stand away from the rest of them, that splash damage for a kill doesn't hurt too much. Okay, we have our own enemies to deal with, so... actually, I think if we pull him closer to this... Rampart, because extreme impact. Oh, we're losing people. Oh, oh dear. And now we have to get out of cover. Medical kit up. We're standing right in the blast zone. Struggling to maintain consciousness after being gravely wounded. Unable to escape the blast, you begin to lose consciousness. Maintain the consciousness! Maintain the consciousness! Button mash to maintain consciousness! Gravely wounded and unable to stand, but still clinging to consciousness. You crawl to safety. You can't even use auto run. You have to hold down the W button. We did have medical kits, but we might not even be able to get them up and running. We're down to 11 minutes and 44 seconds. Meanwhile...
It is a miracle we were able to restrain the Tempered without suffering casualties.
A welcome one. Arun, Senna and the others have their hands full as it is. Thankfully there are enough scales for everyone.
And what of Eulus? His symptoms were particularly severe.
They were, but others fared still worse, including some brought back from the Magna Glacius. As those in most desperate need take priority, it may be a while before he receives treatment. But rest assured that he will. In the meantime, we must find our missing friend. May the Fury guide you.
Of all the bloody times for a disappearing act.
Right when the first wave struck, we'd be fools to think it a coincidence. But where even to begin the search? No one saw her leave in the chaos, and we've no trail to follow.
While I know full well she can handle herself, I worry all the same.
About that.
Ah, speak of the devil.
Well, time to call off the search.
Case closed.
That's her, over there.
Ishtola, you know better.
Aye, 'twould appear so. Thou art struggling to perceive her presence?
I am. Perhaps, in the aftermath of the wave, there is some residual effect interfering with my faculties. But... where have you been? We've been worried sick.
Why are you falling for this? She's not nearly as pretty as me.
Are you alright?
Are you alright?
Who are you?
could not cut it closer if we tried. Get away from them, you bastard.
Sadly, that is all we have time for today. The effect has run its course, and back to your own bodies you must go. But where are my manners? We have all traveled so very far, and I've yet to pay my respects. Though in my defense, I was ill-prepared to receive so many uninvited guests. As such, preliminary entertainments were in order. A handful of tempered soldiers to hamper your progress. Refugees to command your attention while I siphon the ceruleum from the shadows. Particularly effective. Charitable souls that you are, you bent over backwards to aid them, heedless of the delay.
Oh, right.
And so my plan approaches completion.
That's what it was. It was all a big red herring for us to chase.
Anima will soon have absorbed the requisite amount of ether, and then shall come the spectacle to end all spectacles. The eldest and most powerful of primals will awaken, and all shall bear witness to the final days.
Put your eyes back in your head, thank you very much. There's something very sinister about Xenos' smirk when your player character's face.
Your dear companions, my dessert. Upon this world I'll feast, and death shall follow in my wake. All your hate, all your rage, you will render unto me.
For upon thy life's reel wind too many threads of fate, power, weal enmeshed with woe. More terrible still is the attrition wrought upon thy companions, as they are swept up in the storm of thine existence. Take heart and protect them well. They will be your strength and your salvation.
Thank goodness. She's awake.
And back to looking adorable as always. So I'm not dead yet?
I am pleased to report you are very much alive.
Everything in working order?
We have to send help for the injured Imperial though.
Before I forget, thanks for coming to our rescue. Given recent events, I would be surprised if you weren't feeling a bit poorly.
A hearty meal and a long rest would be my recommendation under normal circumstances, but these are anything but. If Van Daniel's boasts are to be believed, we must act quickly. Once you've blown away the cobwebs, we can discuss preparations for our assault on the Tower of Babel.
It will require a detailed report on what happened while you were not yourself. For the contingent, of course. You can wait until later, however. The body you were forced to inhabit turned cold and stiff the moment you were returned to your own. Perhaps the soul it belonged to is long gone. Let us pray it is so. I doubt it would be better off in the care of Xenos and Daniel. Yeah, when dead is the best case scenario, that's pretty messed up. Thank heavens you're you again. Gave me quite a fright. I should go into the Reaper class purely to give him as a practical joke on him. Are you certain you've recovered? You mustn't push yourself, especially after an experience like that. It's fine, I don't have any debuffs and my health bar is just like I left it. Whatever that was, let's not do it again, eh? Straight and to the point, just like a dragoon. Full glad I am to see thee awake and restored to thine own flesh once more. Yes, 'tis still you. My apologies, I realised too late that the ether emanating from the tower was distorting my perception. 'Twas likely a temporary effect, but I remain wary. No apologies necessary, least of all from me. If anything, there's a strange comfort now, knowing I'm no longer the only one to be used as a villain's puppet. Though I pray you'll be the last. You're certain you're well? Nothing out of place? No missing bits? Good, though I won't promise the same for Daniel and Xenos after I'm through with them. How much must these people suffer before they're satisfied? How many cruel, pointless tricks must they play? Prelude to the final days or no, this ends now. So yeah, hopefully that'll help anyone who's struggling with that quest get through it. They've gone way overboard with the cutscenes and the roleplay instances, I think. Till then, I have other videos if you'd like to hear more. And I might, if there's other things in this game that give you trouble, then put them in the comments. We'll see what I can do. Till then, take care everyone. I'll see you all around.